Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Silvia Fernandez, Director of ChileDay, and on behalf of the ChileDay Board, it's a real pleasure to welcome you back to the second session of ChileDay Toronto 2026. Allow me once again to thank all of our sponsors whose continued support makes this event possible. A very special thank you to our main sponsor, Scotiabank, and to the strategic partners of ChileDay, the Minister of Finance of Chile, the Chilean-Canadian Chamber of Commerce, the Embassy of Canada in Chile, and the Embassy of Chile in Canada. Let me also recognize and welcome the authorities and special guests joining us this morning. Mr. Jorge Alessandri, President of the Chamber of Deputies of Chile, Her Excellency Mrs. Karolina Guay, Ambassador of Canada to Chile, Álvaro González, Undersecretary of Mining of Chile, Mr. Nicolás Balmaceda, Undersecretary of Public Works of Chile, and Mr. Hugo Briones, Undersecretary of Energy of Chile. Today, we will open our program by hearing from the Undersecretary of Mining, Mr. Álvaro González. We will then spend the day on the sectors at the very heart of the Chile and Canada relationship: mining, energy, taxation, and what Chile can learn from Canada's approach to artificial intelligence. The engagement of a community that takes Chile seriously year after year is what really makes a second day worth coming back. Before we start with today's agenda, I would like to invite to the stage Her Excellency Mrs. Karolina Guay, Ambassador of Canada to Chile. The Embassy of Canada in Chile is a strategic partner of ChileDay Toronto 2026, and the ambassador's advice, involvement, and support throughout the preparation of this edition have made a meaningful difference. The ambassador represents for us the institutional bridge between our two countries, and we are honored to have her with us this morning to share a few words. Please join me in giving a warm applause to Her Excellency Karolina Guay.
Bonjour, good morning, buenos días a todos. I want to also recognize the President of the Congress, the undersecretaries, the governmental authorities, the private sector representatives here today. Y como decimos en Chile, me sumo a los vocativos. This is my first Chile Day, and I will say this candidly. For any ambassador, this is the kind of forum you hope to see take shape and be part of. Very few spaces bring together so efficiently and so naturally companies, investors, and decision makers from both countries, all in one place, all ready to engage, away from the business of their daily activities, and focused on one thing: making connections to grow the investment and trade relationship between Canada and Chile. So let me start by thanking Invest for the vision and execution. Cristobal, Cecilia, Ana, the entire board, the entire team, thank you. And of course, to Scotiabank as main sponsor for supporting what is, quite frankly, a very unique forum. Diego, Juan Carlos, Katia, and the rest of the team, thank you so much. To our Chilean colleagues who traveled from the Southern Pole to be here, and to the Canadian companies and partners joining from coast to coast to coast, your presence and engagement here makes a real difference in the success of this initiative. As we begin the second day, let me offer just a few reflections from what we saw yesterday. We heard clear signals from a new Chilean government, represented by an unprecedented number of ministers and undersecretaries, determined to move quickly to attract investments. We saw the constant movement in meeting rooms and in the hallways between hundreds of individuals, not just networking, but having real conversations about advancing concrete opportunities. We had direct government-to-government exchanges with a shared conclusion: we are doing a lot together, but we could do even more. And we engaged in practical and frank discussions on the challenges we both face: a difficult geopolitical context, goals such as accelerating permitting while not lowering ESG commitments, addressing community engagement and expectations, and how to respond to all of this through innovation, clean technologies, sustainability, and cooperation. And allow me to share 3 conclusions. The first one is that this partnership stands on solid ground. Canada remains the largest foreign investor, and I like to say, at least for now, that we are the largest foreign investor in Chile by far, a reflection of the long-term confidence, not just capital flows. We continue to leverage an almost 30-year-old free trade agreement, which saw our merchandise trade flow quadruple. We just updated a new strategic partnership framework, which is in diplomatic language. It means we have a special relationship and a concrete roadmap to deliver on results on a wide number of areas. Ces secteurs de coopération incluent les minéraux critiques, la collaboration polaire, la réponse aux feux de forêt, l'intelligence artificielle, la défense, la science et la technologie. And in many ways, we understand each other very well. We are both open economies, reliant on trade, reach natural resources, we're responsible in its exploitation, and we have very, very strong people-to-people ties, and we're committed to stable, rule-based frameworks. En français, je dis souvent qu'on ne parle peut-être pas la même langue, mais nous partageons le même langage. Nous avons énormément de similarités. Y en español, tal vez no hablemos el mismo idioma, pero sí tenemos el mismo lenguaje. Tenemos una cultura de negocio en particular similar, y hasta a veces el mismo sentido del humor. But more importantly, and this is my second conclusion, there's mutual respect, and is reflected in the trust that underpins the relationship. That respect is also reflected in the intensity of our recent engagements, from the presence of the Canadian Speaker of the Senate, Madame Raymonde Gagné, at the inauguration of President Cast on March 11th, to the April 14th call between President Cast and Prime Minister Carney to discuss the bilateral relationship and all the opportunities, to the participation of Parliamentary Secretary Nakfi, this ChileDay, and who in fact met President Cast this weekend in Costa Rica at the inauguration of the new president, and then spent a full day yesterday at ChileDay, probably the longest time that a political representative has spent at ChileDay. And in fact, after watching him engaging with so many Chilean and Canadian stakeholders all through the day, I can confidently say that we have another strong advocate to drive this relationship further. And we have many engagements in the pipeline with Minister Sidu, our Minister of Trade, in upcoming meeting with his Chilean counterpart, Paulo Esteves, at APEC in China this week. Next week, we will have a defense delegation at the Canadian Trade Show in CANSEC in Ottawa. In 2 weeks, there's a Chilean parliamentarian delegation that will travel to Ottawa for the Plenary Assembly of Parliamericas. In June, we have 50 companies going to Expo Nord, this great trade mining show in Antofagasta, where we'll be country of honor. We'll have a delegation of 12 Canadian universities that will also come in June to build research ties. We have a forestry mission at Expo Corma in Chile and a university accredited course with the University of Toronto on mining finance. We also will have Chilean officials on a study tour on mining in June. Donc on a beaucoup de travail, beaucoup de pain sur la planche et content d'en avoir autant. The trajectory is clear, this relationship is active, and it is growing. And as our Prime Minister Carney famously said in Davos, we need as middle powers to work together in these turbulent times. Finally, and this is my third conclusion, what you see in this room is not just participation, it is support. Canada is here with full ecosystem. We have global affairs, we have the Canadian Embassy, the Senior Trade Commissioner, Michelle Gartlin, who's behind us. We also have colleagues from Invest in Canada, Invest in Quebec, from Natural Resources Canada, from our export credit agency, EDC. And so Team Canada is in full force during ChileDay. And I also want to recognize the very dynamic Patricia Núñez y Verónica Guzmán of the Chilean-Canadian Chamber, working with the Chilean counterparts, Invest Chile, the Embassy of Chile in Canada, and of course, Invest, without whom we wouldn't be here today. And all of this ecosystem is here to support either Canadian companies interested in entering or expanding in Chile, Canadian investors already present in Chile facing issues or challenges, and Chilean partners looking at Canada as an investment destination. And here, let me reiterate Parliamentary Secretary Nakfi's message yesterday. We're also eager to see more Chilean investments into Canada. As we start the second day, the objective is straightforward. Build on the momentum, turn discussions into decisions, and keep strengthening a partnership that already delivers and yet still has significant room to grow. Merci, bonne continuation en cette deuxième journée. Thank you, I wish you a very productive day. Muchos éxitos en este segundo día. Muchas gracias.
Thank you, Ambassador Guay, for your words and for the continued support of ChileDay and of the Chile-Canada relationship. Now, I would like to introduce our co-host for this event, Mr. Diego Masola, CEO, Executive Vice President, and Country Head of Scotiabank Chile. We are honored to have him with us this morning to share a few words. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Diego Masola.
Welcome, welcome, everyone. Great to have you here. It is a great pleasure to open this session by extending my greetings to the authorities and to everyone joining us today. On behalf of Scotiabank, thank you for being here we are proud to once again support ChileDay, an important public-private initiative led by the Chilean Ministry of Finance. At Scotiabank, our confidence is in Chile, and also we feel it remains strong. We believe Chile continues to offer a compelling investment proposition supported by solid institutions, democratic stability, responsible economic management, and a long-standing openness to international markets. Chile's relevance is also growing in the context of the global energy transition as one of the world's leading producers of copper and lithium. These opportunities require long-term partners with scale, experience, and international connectivity, needed to transform potential into tangible investment and sustainable growth. As a Canadian financial institution with more than 190 years of history, approximately 1.5 trillion in assets, and a unique geographic footprint across the Americas, Scotiabank is well positioned to connect capital, clients, and opportunities across markets. That commitment is especially strong in Chile, where we have been present for 35 years. We are proud to be one of the country's leading banks and trusted financial partners for companies, institutions, and individuals. Our local experience combined with our international reach allow us to support clients with strong cross-border capabilities and a comprehensive range of banking services. I would like to thank the Ministry of Finance and Invest for their continued leadership and trust. ChileDay reflects the strength of Chile's values proposition and the importance of sustained dialogue between the public sector, the private sector, and the international investment community. As we close this edition of ChileDay, I encourage all of you to carry forward the conversations and connections built here and to transform them into concrete opportunities for investment and growth. I am pleased now to introduce Chile's Undersecretary of Mining, Mr. Álvaro González. Mr. González is a lawyer, holds an MBA from the Pontificia Universidad Católica de Chile and a master's degree in law from the University of Chile. He brings extensive experience in regulatory compliance across government entities, trade associations, and companies in regulated sectors. He has held several senior public sector roles, including Chief of Staff of the Subsecretary of Mining between 2012 and 2014, and Head of Regulatory Compliance at the Superintendency of Higher Education. Prior to this role, he served as Director of Legislative Affairs at the National Mining Society, SONAMI, where he led parliamentary engagement and regulatory analysis on key issues for the mining sector. With you, Mr. Álvaro González.